Rick Scott, Republican senator from Florida, member of the Budget, Homeland Security, and Armed Services committees, is in focus now. Let's start with the numbers on all of this and the plan that Republicans put out, and Biden not wanting to really deal with any of it.
Well, first off, thank God for House Republicans. I mean, they're putting out their ideas. We've got to get structural reform to get this spending under control. We've got to get our economy going. We need to claw back this wasteful government spending, and we got to get people back to work. Pretty basic stuff. And Joe Biden sits there and he just won't even have a conversation about it. Think about it. We all have to live within our means. We don't get to go to the credit card company every day and say, you know, just raise my debt ceiling. I don't want to live within my means. No, we all live within our means. Your federal government needs to live within our means. I did it as governor. I balanced the budget every year, paid off debt. I mean, this is not that hard to do. We have to do it.
Real quickly, let me just ask you, you've heard the president accusing the House Speaker of just wanting the country to fail, just default. How close do you think we could likely get? And what would you like to say to Biden?
Show up. I'd like to say to Biden is show up. I mean, you're the president of the United States. It is your responsibility to solve this problem, right? You can solve this problem by showing up and negotiating with Kevin McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy is a reasonable person. What's not reasonable? We want to live within our means. We want to stop wasteful spending. We want our economy to grow. We want to get people back to work. That's what Kevin McCarthy has said. And Joe Biden says, oh, he must not like any of those things. So Joe Biden is the guy here that is not doing his job. He is not showing up and acting like the president.
Homeland Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas is back on Capitol Hill today, and this time he's not in front of the Senate, he's in front of the House Homeland Security Committee, and it follows the Senate's fiery hearing with him yesterday. Let's watch a bit.
These children being sent to people that are using them for labor or putting them into gangs or for sex trafficking. This is modern day slavery.
The administration has done nothing but facilitate this crisis. You changed Title 42. You allowed hundreds of thousands of migrant children to come across the border. You have at every stage facilitated this modern day indentured servitude of minor children. Why should you not be impeached for this?
Yeah, you know, Senator, we just found out, and Senator Blackburn brought us some of that information yesterday in Focus, 85,000 children are missing. The federal government can't find these migrant children. So this was an already really bad situation that just got a whole lot worse with missing kids.
You know, what I don't get is why does the Mayorkas care? 85,000 children are missing. 70,000 people are dying of fentanyl overdose every year. We've got a completely open border. We've got, we're losing trust in the federal government because, his agency is out there is urging there's disinformation out there. Well, he's creating it. He says, oh, don't worry about the Hunter Biden laptop. That's not a story. Oh, the border is secure. Oh, don't worry about that Afghan withdrawal was successful. Don't worry about that spy balloon from China. They're the ones that are, the Biden administration, the one creating this misinformation, and he would even not answer the question about, has he held anybody accountable for lying, for not doing their job? No, he's not. Of course he's not.
And we got to be quick here because I want to move to the next. Do you think Democrats would join those of you on the Hill in kicking him out?
No. I mean, this is so partisan up here. I mean, I'm just shocked at how partisan it is.
And you don't think he'll
here.
resign? I mean, if I did my job that badly and they put it all over posters and you guys started holding hearings, somebody who loves me would tap me on the shoulder. Come on, Harris, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, he sits there. I mean, he continues to say the border's secure. We all know it's not secure. I mean, I just don't get why doesn't he care about the 70,000 people that died of fentanyl overdose?
Well, if he did, he'd quit. All right. Just this week, 2 men in federal court were arrested for operating a Chinese police station in Manhattan. I remember when you said it. It was November of 2022. You questioned FBI Director Christopher Wray about China setting up unauthorized police stations in the United States. Here's the exchange.
What authority or jurisdiction does the CCP have in the U.S.?
I'm very concerned about this. It is outrageous to think that the Chinese police would attempt to set up shop, in New York, let's say, without proper coordination. It violates sovereignty and circumvents standard judicial and law enforcement cooperation processes.
In the beginning, you even asked, do you even know about this? That was 5 months ago. What are they doing?
It's really disappointing. I think, unfortunately, a lot of people have lost faith in our law enforcement, our federal law enforcement, because of exchanges like this. I mean, this can't be happening in this country. We've got to make sure this not happening here. But guess what? We need to make sure places where we travel around the world, democracies around the world, it's not happening there. Or guess what? You, as an American citizen, travel to another country, you're possibly going to get arrested by the Chinese government. This is crazy. We all have to understand China does not like our way of life and doesn't like us. Don't buy their stuff, hold them accountable.
FBI knew about this. You told them. I mean, this was 5 months ago, and we're now just hearing this like it's, the newest flower in the garden.
But it's everything like this up here, Harris. I mean, everything, the public knows about it first, and finally sometimes the federal government shows up, and they don't tell us anything. I don't get why the federal government is a black hole of information. This is our government. It's not the federal government, it's some separate entity. It's our government. Tell us what's going on. Hold people accountable.
Yeah, and if they're willing to hunt their own Chinese dissidents inside of a different country like ours, what will they do to us here? And we don't even know they've set up shop. Well, we do now. Senator Rick Scott, great state of Florida, thank you for being in focus.
All right, see you, Harris. Bye-bye.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.